Welcome to the Synergistic Leader podcast, where we explore the key factors shaping leadership in education and unlock insights that drive change and make a difference. Now, here is your host, Dr. Beverly J. Irby.
Welcome to the Synergistic Leader, where we explore leadership that goes beyond authority. It's about synergy. I'm Beverly J. Irby, Regents Professor, Senior Associate Dean for Academics, and the Marilyn Kent Byrne Endowed Chair for Student Success in the College of Education and Human Development at Texas A&M University. I also direct the Education Leadership Research Center. The Synergistic Leader podcast is based on the Synergistic Leadership Theory, the first published leadership theory of the 21st century, developed and tested by a team that I led. This theory integrates leadership behaviors, organizational structures, attitudes, values, and beliefs, and external forces to create a dynamic, effective, nonlinear leadership model. As we know, theory guides action, and the synergistic leadership theory maximizes collective strengths. We recognize that many leadership theories developed from the 1930s through the 1980s lacked comprehensiveness. Leadership isn't one size fits all. It's not just about the leader at the top, but also about how leadership behaviors flow through people and within teams, organizations, and communities. Join us as we dive into real-world strategies, conversations, and insights to help you lead with impact, influence, and innovation. Ready to lead synergistically? Let's get started. Today's guest is a state and nationally recognized leader. Dr. Martha Salazar-Zamora is the superintendent of Tomball Independent School District, a role she has held since 2017. With over 37 years of experience in education, she has played a pivotal role in the district's growth and success. Before joining Tomball ISD, she held leadership positions in Round Rock ISD and Houston ISD, among others. Dr. Salazar-Zamora has been widely recognized for her contributions to education, including being named the 2023 Texas Superintendent of the Year and a finalist for the 2024 National Superintendent of the Year. These are honors of exceptional caliber. She has served in various leadership capacities, including as president of the Texas Association of School Administrators, the Fast Growth School Coalition, and the Council of Women School Executives. A strong advocate for educational excellence and equity, she is also a founding member and past president of the Texas Association of Latino Administrators and Superintendents. Dr. Salazar-Zamora is a major supporter of education throughout Texas and the nation. She is a leader among leaders. Welcome, Dr. Salazar-Zamora. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Irby. I appreciate that very gracious but yet long introduction of myself. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a few questions to ask you this afternoon on our Synergistic Leader podcast. So first of all, Dr. Salazar-Zamora, what key leadership behaviors have shaped your approach to leading Tomball ISD?
So I love the term synergistic leader. And I love when you think about what is it about the behavior of a leader, of the behavior of a person that makes them the leader that they are, right? Because we know some leaders have been more successful than others in all areas. But when I think of public ed, there probably are more commonalities than we think in people, men and women, and the friends and colleagues that I have serving our almost 1,300 school districts in the state of Texas. But when I think personally of myself, what are some of those characteristics about myself that have helped me be successful? Um, they're actually quite basic. I would go back, I mean, in the sense of, I believe that the secret to success in leadership for myself has been being a very servant leader, somebody who says we as in the collective team are going to work together to make something happen. We don't celebrate in a success alone. We don't actually suffer in a failure. If something doesn't go well, how do we as a team decide what could we do better? Some of my greatest leadership skills have been learned from things that didn't go well the first time, right? Things that you learned from maybe mistakes that you made. So I think just being willing to put yourself out there and serve amongst everybody that you work with, holding yourself accountable, working hard, certainly being honest. And I don't just mean being honest with others, but being honest with yourself. Am I doing everything I can? Am I evaluating every aspect of this problem, this dilemma, the situation that I need to be? Today, I would add words such as strategic. I don't know if I would have called myself a strategic leader years back. I started in the superintendency over 25 years ago. Today, I would absolutely say I'm strategic, whether I'm creating a strategic plan, a 5-year blueprint plan for my district, or whether I'm looking at innovative practices for the future. There is always strategy, but together as a team, because again, no one leader can do anything by themselves.
Absolutely. That's synergy, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So the synergistic leadership theory emphasizes the significance of organizational structures in influencing leadership effectiveness. How do you structure decision making to empower educators and staff in your organization?
So I live in a world of structures. Um, Although at times I don't like very structured things. So that sounds like I'm saying two things. What does that mean? I like the ability to let things free flow naturally, but in a structured environment, right? Synergistic leaders that are successful always have a plan. So there's no lack of structure, right? There is a plan, a blueprint, a strategic plan, some place that you want to get to. How you get there, though, may allow for a little more flexibility than you think. How do I do that involving others? Well, in my district, like many other districts, we have a cabinet. The cabinet members are chiefs of different areas, chiefs of finance, chief of operation, chief of academics, chief of staff. And those individuals I meet with on a regular basis and really listen to what is happening, not just talk with them, but listen to them as we're talking. What am I hearing? What are they saying? And what are they not saying? Filling in the gaps as we go of things that I think we need to do as we strategically plan for the future. That's every Monday morning. Obviously, I have contact with individuals throughout the week and even the weekends. But even that afternoon on Monday, we meet with our assistant superintendents to get another layer of getting closer to the campus work. I remind people that the work we do in public education, in education overall, is very directly connected and strategically, synergistically connected to teaching and learning. The heart of what we do in public ed is what happens in the classroom. So everything we do, whether it's providing the funding, providing the product, the program, the initiative, it must be synergistically structured in a way that enhances whatever is happening in the classroom. And not just the classroom of today, but thinking about the classroom of tomorrow, because we know, Dr. Irby, as leaders, we're not just preparing people for jobs that we currently know exist, but jobs that haven't even been created yet, which to me is just incredible.
Absolutely. Maybe if we have time, you can tell your story of driving by this large facility and what you did. I want
Purchasing that, yes.
I want our audience to hear that little story.
I would love to share that story.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. So we'll save that for just in just a few
Okay.
minutes.
That's a little nugget to keep them listening.
That's right. We'll wait. Your district has gained national recognition for its work. What are some key initiatives that have driven student success in Tomball ISD? Now, that story might work within this question as well.
Fit in there. I'm going to start though with a complete curriculum rewrite, recognizing that we had a curriculum audit. It was a deficit audit that was performed prior to 2017. I was actually handed that audit when I arrived, and it didn't mean that the curriculum wasn't good. Dr. Irby, what it said was we had something good that could be made great. And so in that plight, in that quest to get to greatness, what did we have to do? So I would say we did a lot of work in continuing to help our staff, our teachers understand they were curriculum designers. They weren't just teachers, working together to improve the high performing learning standards, high priority learning standards that we needed to have our students to be successful, not for an assessment, because Tomball ISD is never focused on a test, but what they need for real world to be successful for whatever college career or military future we were preparing them for. That being said, although we don't focus on any assessment per se, we focus on student success and student learning. And the district has, for the many years that we've had the accountability system, has been very fortunate to be an A-rated school district because of that focus on making sure that teaching and learning is always a priority in every single thing we do. Now, knowing that dollars are tight, and I've mentioned finances a bit or two already, one of the things that I've worried about is with dwindling dollars and things happening at the state and let's say even national level today, what do we need to do to ensure that we have the dollars that we need? Well, advocacy is one, and I will say recently been at the Capitol during spring break, mind you, for 22 and a half hours straight, staying awake with myself and members of the TASA team, advocating for things that are important in public education and what we need, and there's many facets in that. I would say just, again, advocating for student learning to ensure that we have all the tools that we need to make sure that public education has the ability to continue with the success that we've seen. But what happens when those dollars dwindle? Right? We go to Austin, we advocate, and maybe perhaps we know we haven't seen an increase in the basic allotment in many years. It sits exactly where it has been for the last several years. One of the things I've done, which has now I've been referred to as the enterprise superintendent, and that's looking at ways in which you can generate dollars, ways in which you can bring dollars into your school district. And one of those was the story you alluded to, and that was prior to 2020, prior to COVID, just months before, we completed a project, which was for the Academy of Energy and International Business, first of its kind in the state, second in the nation, where our high school students would experience their entire high school experience within industry. The entire 4 years, they would be working, in this case, on an oil and gas company platform in that building, not in a high school. They would have to give up some of the extracurriculars, but they would come out with those real world experiences working beside a chemist, a biologist, a business person, a logistics individual. Unfortunately, though, that school never became a reality yet. I think it will at the right time in the future, because BJ Services, our partner at the time, the partner that we had penned an MOU with and we're ready to go, in February of 2020, we completed everything, the planning of the school. COVID happened the next month. And when everybody came back to work, per se, and we started to get back to some normalcy at that point, we realized that our partner, BJ Services, had gone bankrupt. They notified us, and unfortunately, we had to. No one in education at any level, higher ed or public ed, want to disappoint families or students, but there was no way we could have this partnership without a partner. Driving to work one day as we were starting to come out of COVID and being distancing ourselves safely and following all the protocol that we needed to. One day there were very few of us in the office, and as I drive by, I happened to pass this beautiful building. It's 10 building structure, 70 acres of business space, of office space, of land. And building number one was where we planned to house up to 500 high school students in industry. When that dream died, I did go to two other oil and gas companies and asked if they would have any interest. And they, Dr. Irby, were not interested in having hundreds of children in their building. They either didn't have capacity or perhaps even the want. And I understand that's not for everybody. Well, when I saw the for sale sign that day, I thought, well, what we could do is purchase building number one, perhaps, and turn it into our own building and figure out a way to keep some partnership alive because knowing that it would likely remain some sort of an oil and gas company, which it has. We were able to purchase a property that is now valued at about $430 million. And you did hear correct, we purchased it for $39.5 million and actually only paid $37 million. So that's almost $400 million under what it's valued at today. The beauty of this is building number one, which was the only thing I wanted to purchase. We purchased everything, 70 acres of land, which now houses a functional oil and gas company, the only district in the nation that works in tandem with a fully functioning oil and gas company, building number one, which at some point I want to have kids in there partnering. But building number two is office space. Building number three is an early college and a P-Tech we're excited. Our first P-Tech was an allied health medical for kids wanting to go into something medically related. And our second one will be for education. We also have our CTE area where in Tomball ISD you can graduate and walk out and become out of high school, become a pilot because we have an aviation program, aviation mechanics program. We have graphic design, 911 call center. We have a fully functioning courtroom where we have actual court proceedings with a judge that comes in periodically to work with our students. And the list goes on of what we're able to do there. We also have an ag show barn in the back, which we've been able to double as not just an ag arena where we have a traditional show once a year, but it also doubles as a national robotics center. So to your point of utilizing dollars and how do you plan for things and how do you manage, I think that we're in a time where every leader needs to be strategic and look at what you have, look at what you don't have, and look at what you could have. Because there may be something in your community, like a diamond in the rough sitting right there, that could be a legacy purchase that would really change the landscape of your district forevermore.
That's wonderful. I love that story. And that's not only a strategic leader, but a visionary leader, someone who can think outside the box. And that's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
I have a supportive board that let that happen.
Excellent. So how do external forces, you've mentioned some of that already, but how do external forces such as policy changes, societal expectations, or financial constraints impact your leadership approach? And what strategies do you use to navigate these challenges?
So I think you always have to be aware of external forces and how are they impacting and how you lead and the work that you do. And currently we have a lot of external forces taking place. You know, what will happen with the Department of Education? I don't know, but I know ultimately we'll figure that out and move forward regardless, right? What will happen with the state of school finance? Where will we be at the end of this legislative session? We have them every 2 years. Every 2 years we deal with some change, some shift, some positive, some not so positive, and other external forces that we're seeing today that we haven't always had to deal with in the past. So today we're seeing a little bit more of keyboard warriors that get on their computers and love to tell you all the things that they don't like about what you're doing when perhaps they fully don't even understand what you're doing. I think that we're dealing with more people that are not in public ed, but have strong opinions about public ed, again, and maybe don't fully understand the landscape and the things we have to do or not do as public educators. I think it's important to continue to pull in policy decision makers, pull in elected officials to help them understand this is why we do this, or this is why we don't do this, and this is what we need. And this is how we can together partner to make a brighter future in public education. So it's not as if operating in silos. We have to continue to be cohesive, and I'll use your word, synergistic, in the work that we do moving forward.
Thank you so much. So as we think about and reflect on the last question, I want you to share with us what you believe would be the most overlooked quality in effective leadership today.
That's a great question. The most overlooked quality. Okay, I'm going to tell you because it's the key to so much, and it's super simple. Time management. In a time where we're pulled in so many directions, multiple times a day, you really have to be able to manage, because you can't give of yourself everywhere all the time. I try. I will tell you, I try a lot, successfully, sometimes not so successfully. I joke about wanting more than 24 hours in a day, but I think today we've always realized the importance of it. And now we have gadgets and tools and phones and watches that can keep us on time, good old calendars, whether you still write it down or have some device beep at you. But you have to remember keeping the priorities of life, right? Your faith, your family, and of course, the work that we all love, which is education. But managing that time, whether it's the time you need to be a fit leader, I failed a little on that end, whether it's the time you need to be wellness of mind, whether you need to do time to meditate and read, do something that you enjoy doing, like a little time for yourself. And that might be at 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, taking a walk or doing something before you jump into the rest of the day, which has moments of great joy, but moments of great difficulty. And I think that the person who doesn't manage their time will struggle and ultimately not be successful.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salazar-Zamora. And you can see, the audience can see, why you're a leader among leaders in the public school system and across the nation and in our state. So thank you so much for joining us for the Synergistic Leader, Dr. Salazar-Zamora, and to all of our audience as well. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Synergistic Leader podcast. You can look for our episodes on YouTube and Spotify.
This podcast is housed in the College of Education and Human Development at Texas A&M University, where we transform lives.